Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this will be my book review for How Do You Live by Genzaburo Yoshino. So let me just start off by saying this book is incredible, it's amazing. It's a coming of age story for our main protagonist, Copper, whose real name is Junichi, but in this book, his nickname is Copper. If you read the book, you'll know exactly why he's called Copper, but then it's an interesting book. It has science, it has philosophy, and it also makes us think of the bigger picture about how the world around us works. And I absolutely love it. I think it's not just a book for adults. I think 13-year-olds can read it. Don't ask me if those who are below the age of 13 can read it, because then again, there's a lot of science. I don't know if they'll know about it, but this is a really amazing book. So let's get into the review. So our main protagonist, Copper, has lost the life of his father. He lives with his mother, and he has an uncle who's a very interesting character, and he has three other friends: Urugawa, Kitami, as well as Mizutani. Hopefully I'm pronouncing their names right. So he's 15 years old and he's going through a phase of life that is very interesting. He's learning different things about the world, and there's so much to learn in this book, and I was just so impressed with the amount of things that they are expanding on. They're not just touching it and then moving on. They're going to touch it and then they are going to expand upon it about the world we live in today. So many ideas. So this is how the book goes. First is Copper's story. So whatever happens in Copper's life, he'll tell his uncle, he'll write in a letter to his uncle. And then the next chapter will be his uncle's notes about his chapter in life. And then again, we'll get to another new story of Copper's life, another new event that happened in his life. And then again, it will be his uncle's thoughts again. And that's what's really interesting. First, Copper will write about whatever happened and what he learns from all this. And then his uncle will expand upon them. And that's how he's learning through. And that's just so incredible to read. First and foremost, we talk about egotism and how we think the world revolves around us, how we are in the center of the world, how humans have a tendency to think that way. And this was explained in a scientific way, like we're thinking about the biggest picture possible. We're thinking about the solar system, we're thinking about the galaxy, how the galaxy works. And then we move to a smaller portion, we think about life, how we as ourselves think our lives this way. So first, they talk about how in the beginning, humans used to think that all the other planets in the galaxy used to revolve around the Earth, which is not true, but then again, that's what we thought at the very beginning. And then as time went by, Copernican came in, and something that was interesting about him is that he had an open mindset going into this. Eventually, he came up with the thesis that all the planets in the galaxy does not revolve around Earth, it revolves around the Sun. Of course, at the beginning, there was a lot of resistance to this idea at that time, because humans do have the tendency to think that way, that, the world, we are at the center of the world. They think that way. But then again, he came in with an open mind and he discovered the fact that it revolves around the sun. So that's a really interesting way. And then he finds similarities to the way we, in the real world today, we think as humans, how we think that we are in the center of the world, because we don't have that open mindset and we are restricting ourselves that way. And that's just so brilliant. And then we talk about many other things, how we are interconnected to everybody else in the world, even though we don't know who most of these people are. And then how they are producers and they are expert consumers, and consumers is just amazing. It teaches us more about the outside world in a more mature way. There's a maturity to this book that I really like. Again, there's so many other ideas about friendship and how we feel guilty because we know what's the right thing to do, but sometimes we don't do them. That's something else. And they even brought in Napoleon's story into this book and then related it with our real life. How Napoleon, we always look up to him because, he's such a great character. But why is he such a great character? We delve into that. And so Napoleon at the beginning was destitute and squalid, and then over time he had this rise during the French Revolution, how he took control of all that. And over time he didn't just take over France. Like, it wasn't just France, it was the entirety of Europe, excluding Russia. But then again, this was such an incredible and great achievement. And then they talk about his downfall, how it was caused by Great Britain, which was something that was a flaw in his plan since the beginning, which led to his big downfall from the top. And we can relate to it in our real life. Even some of our favorite fictional characters like Walter White from Breaking Bad or even Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan have this rise to fame, to the top, and then they fall. That's just how it is, and that was just so incredible to watch. And I'm sure some of Shakespeare's stories had some of these as well. And then he relates it to our real life, and I think this, when it comes to storytelling, this has a name for it. If I'm not wrong, it was called hamartia or something like that. but it was just really incredible to read this book, and so many great themes as well. There was this scene that really impacted me a lot where Kitami, his friend, is being confronted by this older boy who's a bully from the judo club because they think that, kids nowadays, they don't follow the rules, so we need to take it upon ourselves to make the kids follow the rules. And then this big fight happens between both parties. The four boys, the four friends, Mizutani, Kitami, Uragawa, and Copper, have vowed that when one of them is in trouble, the other one will go and help the other. And that's what happened here, where both Uragawa and Mizutani helped Kitami. However, Copper, who was in the background just watching all this happen, wanted to go and help. He knew that was the right thing to do. He wanted to do it, but he couldn't because of fear and anxiety and all that. And I felt that actually I've been through something similar, not the exact same scenario, but a different scenario. But I felt that same feeling that Copper went through. That was just so relatable. And moving on, we have another scene where this boy, Urugawa, who gets picked on in school by this other boy called Yamaguchi because of how he sleeps in class and all that, suddenly disappears. And he has no friends in class. He suddenly disappears for a few days, and people thought that he was sick. So Copper, or Honda Junichi, took it upon himself to go and visit this boy to see what's up with him. And then he sees how he lives, and then he wasn't sick. Urugawa is not sick, but what he realizes was that he had to sacrifice school for his family business. And that was just so incredible to watch, how he's the producer and how Copper is the consumer, the difference between them, we could see that. Honestly, all in all, this is an incredible book. It's a must read for anybody. I would highly recommend you guys to go to the library and borrow it, or if not, go to a bookstore and buy it and read it, because I think this is a book that will stay with you forever. It's really memorable and it's definitely a must read. And even Studio Ghibli's latest film, The Boy and the Heron, took some inspiration from this book as well. And if I'm not wrong, the Japanese name of that movie is called How Do You Live? I don't know why on earth they changed the name to Boy and the Heron in the English version, but How Do You Live suits it better because the movie tackles some really mature themes, and The Boy and the Heron makes it sound like it's just some children's movie, but in reality, it's about how do you live. So I don't know why on earth they changed their name, but then again, definitely go pick this book up. I highly recommend it. And that's all I have for this video. If you like the video, click the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys next time. You guys always the best.